Again, and just in time for the Valentine's Day. What have you prepared for your partner or spouse? Be sure to let us know in comments. Okay, let me guess. Chocolates, clothing, flowers, electronic gadgets, toys, or if you're looking to disappoint, daily necessities. These are all common gifts. But this year in China, the gold jewelry has become a trendy option. The precious metal has been favored by Chinese for thousands of years.
带着艳艳的、贵贵的金鸡，来戴上。是，哦，停。
People consider gold a symbol of wealth, status, power, and as an item that maintains its value over time. But it's always been favored by the elderly. Many young people were not fans of the simple designs or the color. Some young people only get it for special occasions such as a wedding or for a new baby. But in recent years, things have changed.
口小肚大招财纳福，给你打个最低折扣9折，26415。
I bought a necklace with 4 grams of gold, some 4,000 yuan.
I want something bigger, with 20 or 30 grams of gold.
I started to like gold jewelry just during the recent 2 years.
The younger generation is in on the action, buying gold jewelry for daily wear.
I want to buy a bracelet at around 10,000 to 20,000 yuan.
I want to buy a necklace at around 20,000 yuan.
It's living up to the title of precious metal. A piece of gold jewelry can easily cost you hundreds or even tens of thousands of US dollars here.
I like gold, but it's expensive.
See here, each piece has a label stating how much gold it contains, but you also pay for the workmanship, meaning more intricate designs cost more. Store employees will be sure to tell you how much gold a piece of jewelry contains. 这个镯子大概是多少克啊？多少？
这一款什么？56.16克的。今天我们牌价是627，每克是减50，是577。然后我给你算一下，56.16，3万多，加上工费的话是34000多块钱。
A piece of gold jewelry at this shop may contain anywhere from less than 10 grams to more than a kilogram of gold. However, you are not just buying a lump of metal, but a work of art. And for that, you can expect to pay anything from an extra 30 to 3,000 US dollars. Each gram of gold at China's jewelry shops is now worth more than 600 yuan. That's almost 1/5 higher than it was at this time last year. How big is a gram of gold? Smaller than a pea.
10 years ago, when I bought a gold jewelry for a wedding, it was just some 300 yuan per gram, but now it's more than 600 yuan.
Gold prices have been breaking records lately. The London Bullion Market Association, or LBMA, gold price broke an all-time record in December 2023.
When some geopolitical tensions or some financial crisis come, we usually will see the gold price will move higher sometimes. For example, the classic example in recently is the SVB bankrupt in March 2023. The gold price will see a sharp rally. When the tension is eased, the gold price just start to drop. Also, the expectation last year, people think the U.S. might enter into the recession in 2024.
But why are people flocking into the market amid such high prices?
I don't want to put eggs in a single basket. I also invest in gold bars sometimes. More frequently, last year I bought more than 100,000 yuan of gold bars.
From a long-term point of view, gold has its market value. It can keep its value.
The LBMA gold price ended 2023 at a record high year-end close, generating an annual return of 15%.
For the price of the gold, most of the time it moves inversely with the US dollar. The global investor now facing lots of uncertainty increase the geopolitical tensions in the Middle East, for example. And lots of people are not only allocate their cash into the bonds, into the stocks, they also are putting money into the alternative assets like gold, especially for lots of high net worth peoples. I think it's pretty good for them to have this kind of a habit because they will be more immune to the financial risk.
But if people are just looking for a safe haven asset, Why not just buy gold bars or coins, or just buying gold ETFs? Why jewelry?
Before, gold jewelry was old-fashioned. This gourd is stereoscopic, and I can turn it around. It's exquisite.
I buy new gold jewelry when it's an anniversary. It carries important meaning for me.
Wearing gold jewelry during the Chinese New Year can bring me good luck.
Buyers value good designs and the messages they can contain. Gold jewelry nowadays isn't just about being flashy. Many modern pieces are now matte, with elaborate patterns.
In the past few years, gold jewelry brands have created more modern designs to cater to the young people. As you can see here, there's fish, different designs, different elements. There's also diamond. Obviously, they were looking to expand their customer base. And young people are also starting to recognize the precious metal as a safe haven asset. The gold jewelry still has value after it's been used. But I can't really tell which came first. Was it rising interest from young people that triggered new designs? Or was it the new designs that captured the eye of the young buyers? It's like asking which came first, the chicken or the egg. Never mind, as long as sales are up.
Many years ago, gold jewelry was mainly favored by women in their 40s or 50s. But now, many people born after 1990 or even 2000 are coming to buy it, because they start to like Chinese-style goods. They now wear traditional costumes from the Tang Dynasty, and they need the gold jewelry for decoration. Most of the young customers buy jewelry for themselves.
It's a wearable investment, a good destination for the country's rising disposable income. In 2023, China's per capita disposable income topped more than 39,000 yuan, or nearly $5,500, more than double what it was a decade ago. Gold jewelry brands have been paying attention. The parent company of the gold store I visited in Shanghai, Yuyuan, reported that in the first 3 quarters of 2023, the jewelry industry remained at the core of its consumption business, where sales revenue grew almost 23% year-on-year. During the first 9 months, the group opened 474 new gold stores. It now has more than 5,000 that have even attracted foreign interest.
It's really, really beautiful. It's really nice. It seems that here you have a full store full of these beautiful golden things, and we don't have so many, at least in my country, in Chile. But I'm sure that some of these, if they would be in Chile, it would be interesting for younger people as well. I would love to bring people from Chile to see this.
Design is very fashionable than in Japan.
A new report from the World Gold Council said the gold jewelry market proved to be remarkably resilient amidst record high prices. China played an important role, having traded most spot gold in 2023. Last year, gold jewelry demand in China topped 630 tons, a year-on-year increase of 10%. It's clear that those 630 tons were not traded just through these offline stores. The report says products with lighter weights and cheaper unit total prices were the most popular. Those lighter than 10 grams or cheaper than 2,000 yuan contributed the most to retail sales. This is where e-commerce comes in. Pinduoduo, owned by the Nasdaq-listed PDD Holdings, is known for its bargain-priced products, and that extends to gold jewelry.
Since the beginning of January, when we started the promotion, sales of jewelry related to the Year of the Long has seen a more than tenfold jump from the same period last year on Pinduoduo. The gold consumption saw a peak before the Valentine's Day. People born after 1995 are the main consumer group. Orders made by men aged between 18 and 25 saw the fastest growth. Gold beams, gold bars, and pure gold are top search words among young people.
Looking ahead to the gold price prospect in 2024, experts are not forecasting more aggressive rises.
The price of the gold move this year might be a bit V-shaped. The gold price rally since last November is mainly due to the expectation of the Federal Reserve to cutting the interest rate aggressively this year. But our base case scenario is probably the Fed will not cut the interest rate, probably will be no earlier than June this year. This will be negative for the gold for the first half of the year. We think probably gold might have a chance to visit 2000 era again this year. But think about now, the Western economy now all face the slowing down. So when the European central banks and some other central banks like Federal Reserve, or even the Australian central banks, if they start to cut to interest rate, and probably there will be more liquidity will be pumped into the financial markets, then probably it would be positive for the gold. But that probably may happen in the second half of this year.
Special delivery. All right. All right, so this is the place. I'm actually going to spend the next couple of hours delivering food right here inside the CIIE. They have a new delivery service they put in place this year where people can order using the Import Expo app. You can order their food and have it delivered straight to their kiosk so they don't have to come down here and wait in line. So let's see what they can sort me out with. 你好。
你好。
你好。这个。
出餐的话需要穿工作服。
好的。
好吧，这是您的工作服。
谢谢。All right, it's 11 o'clock. I have until 12 p.m. to deliver this. Hang on. Okay, so I know I'm going to 6.2 A404, right? There's a map app here. Now here all I have to do is tap route, and I can choose. So I can actually navigate using augmented reality, or AR. Here we go. We're going that way. It's a very crowded venue. I can see these things being a problem for us delivery folks. I'm bringing 30 portions of raised beef brisket to Burberry. Use the freight elevator. And off we go. Okay. That way.
Left.
.2. Just 15 minutes into my delivery time, which is great. So I'll be able to get back down there. Apparently they have another delivery waiting for me, so let's get to it. So it should be down that way. We have arrived. Why am I? Okay. 放在哪里啊？好。哎呀。All right。放在地面吗？
这个保温盒能给我们吗？
不能，我需要回去的，他们需要保温的，对。
哦，那就放这边吧。
好的。好的，好的。
好，谢谢。
谢谢。All right, back to the shop. All right, we got one delivery done. I had to get back to the shop, pick up another one. We got one more delivery to go.
Oh, going.
Hey, buddy.
What are you doing?
What are you doing here?
By the curry. Well,
are you here with the Canton Pavilion?
Yeah.
Awesome.
We're going to see company. Hey.
So that guy I just ran into works for the Canadian Chamber of Commerce, and he was kind of shocked to see me dressed like this. So I had to give him a little explanation as to what I was doing. All right, we gotta get back on the elevator. And in we go. And that's it. Super easy. He'll unload the food, I'll take the cart back, and it's on to another delivery, if they have one. All right, well, that was easy enough. Actually make it really easy. When you show up here at the CIA and you're going to work as a delivery person, there's an app you can download. You just log in, they assign you to a restaurant, they give you a get up, and then they give you orders. And if you can't find a place, well, you just use the CIIE app, and there's a built-in GPS right there. You just type in the place you want to go to, and it just draws a line for you. There's even augmented reality, and it'll just make a path for you. You look through your camera phone, and it'll show you where to go. It just made me think a lot about the delivery drivers out on the streets, the Ele.me drivers, the Meituan drivers. That is an order of magnitude more difficult than what we're doing here. If you're a driver for Ele.me or Meituan, you got to deal with traffic, you got to park your bike, you got to find where the place is, you got to drive all the way to the restaurant, then drive to drop it off. This is so much simpler, but still it's maybe slightly challenging, I suppose, but they make it real easy with all the digital tools that they put in place.
Oh, cool.
I win. Really exciting to see so many innovations at the same place. I think it's called Import Expo. Yeah. I would call it Innovation Expo.
The China International Import Expo has been held for 7 years, and I've been covering this event every year. The most exciting thing for me is meeting people from all over the world and learning about their stories at the event. And this year, I'm going to make a new friend. He's attending the expo for the very first time. Let's go and see what he's up to. Hi, Julian. Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
How are things going here?
Very well, very well.
This is Julian Janet here, Vice President of Sweden-based Alfa Group's Energy Division. When I met him at his booth, he was busy meeting business partners for the launch of a new product.
It's a product that is at the heart of the clean transition. So it works used both for the clean energy sources like green hydrogen, like renewable energy storage and industrial heat pumps, but also it benefits existing established sectors like heating and cooling of buildings, heavy process industries and power productions. So we are very, very proud to have this global launch here happening at CIA.
Compared to things like food and consumer goods, large equipment like this isn't something people really think about, but they are more widely used than you might have thought.
We like to say that you are never more than a kilometer away from an Alfa Laval equipment, and a lot of things you touch and you have around you in your daily life probably gets an Alfa Laval equipment involved in the value chain.
So do you know this building here in Shanghai?
Yes, absolutely. I've been coming in Shanghai before that building was come 20 years ago. Now it's really nice to see this building, and our heat exchangers are actually cooling this building. So
the Shanghai Tower.
In the Shanghai Tower, and they are very important customers working in this tower, and they want to have very good cooling.
Beijing Airport.
Yes.
And also the Beijing Olympics. You also provided some equipment for them.
Absolutely. All the cooling and heating in the Beijing Airport is then done thanks to our heat exchangers, similar to the one we have here, and the same for the Olympics. Ice ring for refrigeration is using our Alfa Laval heat exchangers.
As a first-time CIE participant, Julian couldn't wait to explore the other parts of the venue as soon as he could manage to get some free time to do so.
Have you seen it before?
I haven't seen that one before. We use a lot of robots in our factory, so it's always exciting to see robots. For us, the way to stay competitive has always been to drive innovation in our manufacturing space, and a lot has been around automation. Yes.
Good job. Is it good?
It was fun. It's really good. We see some progress, continuous progress there.
Julian stopped from time to time as there was always something to have a closer look at in the venue.
Cutting tools will be used in our production processes as well. So we are very likely to be using similar technologies in some of our factories.
I can see this.
Those robots, same as we have seen earlier with the ping pong players, are typically used in our factories in many different stages of our operation.
So why do you think that the China International Import Expo can attract so many exhibitors like you?
China is still the largest market in the world for many industrial companies. There is a lot of transformation happening in China. So for us to be very close to industrial leaders and technology leaders on the Chinese market, I think makes a lot of sense to be present. A lot of things will be challenging in terms of transforming, for example, the decarbonization of the whole energy system is going to be a challenging journey, and we believe a lot in partnership ourselves. It's a great opportunity to be all together at the same place where innovation is vibrant and happening.
I think it's not only a place for doing business, it's also a place for making friends. So have you made any friends during these 2 days?
Yes, we met quite a number of partners and connection. We talked about the legacy of being here for 40 years, but probably the most important is the next 40 years, because in the next 40 years this is when everything will happen. If we want to decarbonize our whole energy system by 2050 and 2060, this will happen now. We cannot wait for the next generation to solve it. We have to solve it ourselves. And that's quite exciting. And this will happen in China, here in China, for China, but also in the rest of the world. So it's really exciting to be part of that journey. Our team met the CIA Bureau yesterday, was discussing already next year. So we are thinking in the future already.
Maybe for the next CIE, I can see you again.
Yes.
分别与中国、韩国和日本。
美国联邦政府关门的危机。
炒作俄乌冲突将是笼罩此次峰会的阴影。敦促其他国家要避免火上浇油。
在这个半个地球以外的华盛顿给找到了。
他们希望让自己的生活变得更加美好。
你好吗？
This was the first group of students I took to China.
My journey is deep into China. Not too many people get this view.
Very inspiring to look at.
Yes, this one's ready.
Mr. Christopher Nolan.
It's very exciting to be back in Shanghai.
I'm at NYU Shanghai. Give you an exclusive tour inside.
让更多的外国人更加理解了上海话的路。会接“一带一路”参与。
大家可以看一下，我们这儿有两个小脚架，中国制造。
搭载着天河核心舱的长征5号 B 遥2运载火箭从这里点火起航。
First villages in the city to be renovated as 高士比的语言高度。
Welcome to the premiere of Chinese Puzzle.
Learning the differences.
在我内部，让
SMG International.
Huangpu Marathon combines the International Roller Skating Marathon Tour.
Regarde, cet événement a l'air génial.
Oui, et Shanghai est juste magnifique.
Ça me donne vraiment envie d'y participer.
The Zootopia Park at the Shanghai Disney Resort.
В Китае отличная инфраструктура. Путешествовать очень удобно.
Время планировать поездку в Китай.
Are you ready to begin your studies in China?
I've already begun learning Chinese.
You can learn by following the Shanghai Eye 24-hour live stream.
和中国的天空，我们在同一天打天下。
在世界的东边，有个文明古国，它叫中国。
Like it blows my mind.
中国制造非常安全的国家。
China has been a leader in embracing investment.
Decoupling of the economies is not a solution.
Die Freundschaft mit China nützt unsere Wirtschaft.
Ich habe jetzt ein besseres Verständnis für viele Kooperationskonzepte.
I would say China is a lot stronger today in innovation.
You should really check out these explanatory reports.
Joe Biden's official presidential car is Cadillac One, otherwise known as the Beast. So is its Chinese counterpart the Beauty? How big is a gram of gold?
In this incident, one could understand this as Western bias.
Wow, China is so different from what I imagined. Yes, we should understand China from multiple perspectives.
What everyone is really keen to find out at the moment is what are going to be the impacts of a second Donald Trump presidency in the United States. He's promised some pretty significant tariff increases, 60% on Chinese goods going into the US. Now, obviously, that's a lot more than the around 20% that we currently see. What tools does China have to deal with this?
And particularly if you look back 2024, export has been an important lifting factor for China economic performance. So if you're facing the new rounds of the tariff escalation, of course, it will impose a lot of pressure, particularly China export to the U.S., right? That like we saw in 2018 and then 2019, and this time the tariff increase might be doubled actually compared to last time. So of course, this is a very important risk we need to watch out. And on the other side, if export losing momentum, what China will react. Of course, there's several directions we also need to watch out. One is that whether CNY will devalue, like we saw in 2018 and 2019, to partially offset the tariff impact. And particularly in China's case, what measures China can take to mitigate actually the tariff hit on the export to the U.S. But probably more importantly, what measure China will take to expand the exports in the non-U.S. market. So this is on the export side.
2024 has been a fairly gloomy year. It's been one characterized, at least in the second half of the year, by challenges and by pretty poor sentiment on many fronts. What do you think are the prospects for turning things around and having a bit more of an optimistic year in 2025?
In the corporate sector, as we argue that more balanced or the equal treatment between SOE and non-SOE, and particularly also the more balanced policy support across different industries. The government spent a lot of efforts to promote the manufacturing upgrade, but in the modern economy, actually, the service sector innovation is equally important. So we highly recommend actually the government also have delivered a balanced support between the manufacturing and the service upgrades. For household, consumer confidence has been on the soft side, and that's in part because of the employment expectation. It's not actually because Chinese does not have the job opportunity, but there's a mismatch. The mismatch between the job being offered and what the job you want. I will say that the policy redirection, more balanced support between investment and consumption, more balanced support between manufacturing and service industry, these probably the most important policy change. And that the good news is that some of them probably doesn't cost too much money. It's more about the policy directional change.
You've mentioned earlier that income growth and the prospect of wage growth is going to be really key to turning things around. And of course, you've also mentioned the mismatch between the manufacturing sector and the service sector. Now, the service sector, of course, is a massive employer here in China. How do we go about, really injecting some fuel into the Chinese economy by way of income growth?
Particularly 2010 to 2020, this is the decade actually we see the rebound in the consumption as percentage GDP, and also rebound in household income as a percentage GDP. That also coincides with the rapid growth in the service industry. Service actually is only the sector to create new jobs. So that was 10 years, which is probably serve as a good example. This 10 years actually, we see actually consumption grow very strong, and also everybody talk about consumption upgrade, right? So I think that if you do the comparison in the last 2 or 3 years, actually the uneven treatment between manufacturing and the service sector, we see actually that's an important reason for the current situation. So that is actually where we should aim to change through this, particularly this policy round. We talk about supporting consumption and boosting domestic demand.
ESG is a term you've probably heard countless times in business, finance, and government affairs.
ESG funds in China, green insurance, green loan and green bond market.
ESG policies, it's everywhere. But what you may not know is that it's a 20-year-old concept. It stands for environmental, social, and governance. The term was coined 2 decades ago by the United Nations Global Compact.
By the year 2050, the plastics in the ocean will surpass the amount of a fish.
And that's why
climate change has never been as urgent as now.
What progress has been made in terms of ESG? Are there outstanding case studies? How's cooperation between countries? We had a chance to sit down with Liu Meng, head of China office of the United Nations Global Compact.
Ms. Liu, thanks for your time.
Thank you, Lisa.
20 years ago, United Nations Global Compact was the first organization in the world to propose ESG concept. How would you interpret ESG, and what do you think is the significance of ESG, promoting ESG in current era?
There are more than 23,000 companies from 170 countries endorsed ESG principles, which are the 10 principles of global compacts. The UN Secretary General announced global warming era has ended, and now it's a global warming era has coming. So climate change has never been as urgent as now.
China has had multiple actions in the ESG field. The most ambitious goal is to reach peak carbon emissions by 2030 and carbon neutrality by 2060. How would you evaluate the efforts China has made in the ESG field?
In September, China will convene the next FOCAC meeting, Forum on China-Africa Cooperation. We commend China's efforts on strengthening South-South cooperation for sustainable development through China-Africa collaboration as an example. There are already pilot projects ongoing. I hope after the FOCAC close, we will be able to launch the first flagship pilot project where Chinese companies are coming together to contribute to the improvement of electricity access in African communities, not only since 2020, when the Chinese government proposed the carbon peak and the carbon neutrality goals. ESG has been booming in China, but also through very important international collaborative efforts, such as the initiative proposed by China, the Belt and Road Initiative, how to co-construct high-quality, green, resilient infrastructure by multiple companies from different countries.
Any cases or achievements here in China that have amazed you?
China is the biggest investor globally into renewable energy. You can see here in the Chinese market that electric vehicle, which is more environmental friendly way of transportation, is booming. Not only the car makers, but also the battery industry, they are looking into the full life cycle sustainability. The UN Global Compact, we launched a white paper, and one of the key areas we are looking into is about electric vehicle, and it's about EV battery. And as I learned from some leading Chinese companies, the critical metals used in this EV battery now can be recycled up to 99.9%. From the mining to the recycle and the reuse of the batteries, there is already existing best practice from leading industrial players. This impressive technology breakthrough can enable us to make sure and transform this sector to be a circular economy model.
The United Nations has launched the 2030 Agenda for Sustainability. Where do you position China in that project?
China has been a strong supporter for multilateralism. If you listen to the state leader of China's remarks on major international occasions, SDGs, 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development are most frequently mentioned terms. At the UN Global Compact, we attach great importance to the Chinese market and also companies from China. And we believe they have great potential that we can together unlock to accelerate the sustainable development goals. In 2022, the United Nations Global Compact we launched called China Strategy. And in the China Strategy, we identified 7 key areas for us to work together with private sector in China to make positive contribution to global agendas such as poverty alleviation, to tackle climate change, to protect the biodiversity, to foster more equity, for example, gender equality. We also highlighted the exemplary cases for China and Africa to strengthen collaboration in order to accelerate the SDGs. And this past April, we just launched a global network called China-Africa Corporate Community Action Network, where we're convening the biggest major investors that invest in African continent from China, together with stakeholders from Africa, coming together to co-identify what are the most pressing sustainability challenges across Africa continent.
How do you think China can contribute to the sustainable growth globally in the following 5 years?
China has contributed to a UN Peace and Development Fund, and also China founded Global Development and South-South Development Fund. And these are major investments. These are the SDGs stimulus called for by the UN Secretary General. So China is really putting real money into this movement to support our humanities goal, the 2030 Agenda. And on the other hand, if you're looking at China domestically, you see that ESG exhibition discussions is happening every day. We partner with China Ocean Shipping Group and also our participant Lingyun Group to convert used ocean shipping containers into an eco-toilet. A toilet that doesn't require electricity, it doesn't require water, it can be used in many scenarios. This year, the UN Global Compact, we launched a sustainable leadership dialogue to interview 20 top and leading sustainability practitioners, and they are the CEOs of major Chinese companies from different sectors for them to share their insights and perspectives about, how do they make decisions to strategize ESG and why they can achieve long-term business success while they're doing good for the society and the people and the planet.
Thanks for your time, Ms. Liu.
Thank you, Lisa.
Fidel, welcome to Shanghai.
Thank you.
What is your first impression about Zhangyuan?
I immediately fell in love with the Shikumen architecture and style. Welcome in Casa Dolce Gabbana.
Oh, thank you.
You know what? This place remember me my hometown. We have the same kind of style and architecture in the island where I was born. We call it Galaya. And this architecture allows to the rain, to the light to enter directly in the home.
So it's open air space as well.
Exactly, and the sign of joy of life.
Well, we call it Tianjin in Chinese.
Tianjin.
Tianjin.
Tianjin. Okay.
Yes, and then here.
Yeah, welcome in the Casa Dolce Gabbana. Casa for us means where a place in which the art, the soul is, the place of the family. This is a part of our new Dolce Gabbana homeswear collection, and it reports our iconic patterns. We start from the blue Mediterranean blue, and as you can see, the animalier patterns. And then something that remember me the Chinese culture, that is the carretto siciliano, that takes the origin from the Sicilian soul of Dolce Gabbana, and you can see it's very colorful and full of joy.
How do you say happiness in Italian?
Felice.
Felice.
How is it in Chinese?
罗开心啊. Well, it's a Shanghai dialect,
yeah.
So you would say 罗开心啊.
罗开心.
Yeah, 罗开心.
罗开心.
Hello, Fidel. Welcome to China again.
Thank you for inviting me.
Well, it's fascinating space. This is the brand new Casa Dolce Gabbana, right?
Yeah, it is the new Casa Dolce Gabbana. It's the first experience in this case, and we choose to open up this experience here in Shanghai. It's not a surprise for us because we started our adventure in the APAC area in Shanghai in 2004. And we choose a fantastic Victorian Gothic building style in the Bund. And so after 20 years, we decided to launch this Casa Dolce Gabbana experience. Literally Casa means home, but for Italy, for the Italians, Casa means something deeper than simply a place in which we want to stay. It's the place of the soul, it's the place of the heart, it's the place in which we have the family and all, let me say, our beloved friends. We do not intend this space as a commercial space. This is a more multi-dimensional cultural space, and we want that this place become more and more a place in which you come and discover, and you feel at home, you feel in Italy, just seeing, watching a simple photo.
Actually, you had a lot of options for venues. Open this Casa Dolce Gabbana.
Yeah.
Why do you choose Zhangyuan at the end?
Dolce Gabbana was born literally in Milan, and we choose the city for the energy of the city, and we can say that Shanghai is very similar to Milan. Milan is in a certain ways the engine, let me say, of everything happening in Italy in terms of energy, in terms of innovation, in terms of lifestyle, and we felt that Shanghai had the same, let me say, energy. So this is why we choose this city, because there is a perfect merge, a perfect mix between tradition and modernity. That the public, the young generation of people that is used to be here, and so to evolve with innovation, with innovative lifestyle, and then the tradition of the architecture. And it is literally Dolce Gabbana. Dolce Gabbana is a perfect mix between the aim to preserve the local tradition in Italy and the innovation. So it's perfect for Dolce & Gabbana. And we are so confident that it will be a place that the young generation here in Shanghai will use to visit, even because this is a multidimensional space in which we aim to let me say, live together the two different cultures, because the target is to bridge between, let me say, the Italian culture and the Chinese culture. That, by the way, they have a lot of things in common.
Italy and China are both countries with long and rich history. How would you see the connection in terms of the culture and heritage?
You know, we have a strong foundation, both that is the family. Everything is born from family. When we are in China, we felt literally at home for this reason. And obviously, the historical tradition we have. We are so old as countries, both China and Italy, and the strong willing that we have both to preserve the past. That it doesn't mean that we want to renounce to the future. On the contrary, we want to be innovative, to continue to grow, to continue to experiment.
So would you introduce more projects on cultural integration?
Totally. That the richness that we can have merging the two cultures is something really unique. And the more we'll be able to collaborate, the more we'll be able to integrate our strengths, the more we are going to create something unique in the world. We presented here in Jiangguan the collaboration with two, let me say, young home designer, Chinese home designer, that they work, let me say, putting in common the bamboo, the Chinese bamboo, Chinese material, with the glass of Murano, that is a typical Italian material, creating something of unique. We are working with, and we will present in Milan in September, a collaboration with a fantastic young fashion designer. Her name is Susan Fang. She's very well known, and she loves to work with her. We will present her collection, supported by Dolce & Gabbana in the Fashion Week in Milan, and soon after here in Shanghai. And we are working with, let me say, a university in Italy that is Ca' Foscari in Venice, that is very focused on foreign, let me say, studies, especially here in China. She has a lot of collaboration with the universities here in China, because we need to improve our cultural knowledge, and we need to continue to learn from what's happening in, let me say, key countries such as China is.
Dolce & Gabbana actually has attended at CIIE for 4 times.
Yeah.
So would you join us this time?
We attended for 4 times in the last 5 years, and will continue. We are strongly convinced that CIIE is a fantastic platform, because not only it allows to us to present our creations and to let us, let me say, very well known about for the public in China. But we want to let this platform more and more interactive. Usually we do not anticipate, but I can say that we are going to have a new space in which we will have talks. We will host meetings with the local, not only local authorities, but even local artisans and artists. Starting from CIE, using this kind of experience is a way, let me say, to have a continuously relationship, interactive relationship. We have a lot to learn from Chinese younger generation, because they are so innovative.
With the activities or events just like CIIE, how would you understand about diversity of Chinese market during the last 20 years?
Obviously, we are speaking of one of the most important markets for any fashion brand in the world. So for us, it's, let's say, a continuous teacher, we can say, teacher, and inspiration for what's going on new in the world. I see that there is a new consciousness. The consumer is more and more conscious. The young generation is very precise in their choices. And I can anticipate to you something. Dolce & Gabbana is going to open in September the first F&B experience, the Dolce & Gabbana Cafe, the first Dolce & Gabbana Cafe.
First one outside of Italy?
Here in Shanghai.
Wow.
And this is because we know that we want to stress the connection in a sort of lifestyle, let me say, continuous connection with the new Chinese generation.
So it is your adaptation, but also the confidence of Shanghai's market,
Exactly.
or China's market.
Exactly. Chinese market, Shanghai in particular, at the center of our, let me say, commitment and of our strategy. As this place is the first brand center of Dolce & Gabbana outside Italy. We have already launched in these days our first store of Dolce & Gabbana Casa collection that you are seeing in this moment. I can anticipate that starting from 2025, in the second quarter, we are going to launch here our beauty business. And so next year we are going to open our first beauty boutiques here in Shanghai, and then we'll start in Beijing, Wuhan, Chengdu, all the major places and cities here in China. So yes, China remains at the center of our strategy and our commitment. But as I said before, most of all, what it's interesting for us is to continue to cultivate this perfect integration between the two cultures, Chinese and Italian, because the richness of this relationship between Dolce & Gabbana and China is due to this kind of, let me say, perfect integration of the two cultures.
Well, let's look forward to see all those new products you just mentioned about happening in China.
Yeah, and I promise I will come more often in China because, by the way, I love this country.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, really, thank you.
I 私は富士中国投資有限公司の峰村です。1985年大学生の時に初めて中国旅行に来ました。で、86年から仕事をし始めてずっと中国と日本の投資貿易の関係をしておりまして、中国で25年間生活しております。特に今回の三中全会の内容としましては、印象に残りましたのは、一つは改革を2029年までに完成させるというふうに言っております。2029年までの中国のさらなる発展改革という部分で私が最も興味がありますのは、で日本はもうすでにその高齢化を迎えておりまして、いろいろな経験をしています。富士製油は日本の高齢化社会に対して老人のタンパクの問題を解決するということで大きな功績を残しております。従いまして我々はこれから中国の社会に対してその高齢者の健康の問題、特にタンパク関係の接種の問題に対してですね、大きな貢献ができると思っておりますし、その異なる日本の企業に対して中国がどのような政策的なことをしてくれるかというところ、これは一番外資として心配なところですが、先ほど言いましたが生活の面では圧倒的に便利、大事なのは治安がいい、病院の設備も揃っている、この医療と治安の面が優れている。従いまして外国人が住むという意味では最も優れた都市であります。もう一つ仕事の面では人材が上海では全国から優秀な人材が揃っておりますし、我々日本の企業にとっては日本語の素晴らしく上手な中国人もたくさんいらっしゃいます。人材の面、上海市政府の外資に対する政策は非常に公平でありまして、いわゆる法治都市のナンバーワンだと思います。この環境というのは外資にとって一番仕事がやりやすい、投資が安心してできるという環境であります。流行の先端を行く場所であります。従いまして我々は上海を中心に投資活動を行いまして、上海から発信させる、上海から全体の中国を感じて 全体の中国への仕事を広げるというような活動をしていきたいと思っております。
大家好，我是星之使者悠悠龙，快跟随我一起来一场畅快的星际之旅吧！浩瀚宇宙是我们永远的中国梦，终有一天会抵达遥远的彼方。现在，让我们继续出发吧。
This is my 5th year at the China International Import Expo. And can you believe it? I've met this buddy, Mr. Contact, for 3 years in a row. Mr. Contact is the mascot for Haleon's cold, flu, and allergy relief brand. Let's go say hi. Hello. Looks like he wants me to follow him. Nice to meet you, Mr. Sanders.
Nice to meet you, Esther. Welcome to our stand. I personally also quite proud, already 7 years at CIIE and for the last 3 years at Haleon.
I've known Mr. Sanders since 2022, and this is our 3rd year meeting. This time, in addition to exploring what Haleon is showcasing at CIIE, we'll also tour other exhibition areas to discover the latest trends and get a broader view of developments in other sectors.
I found your booth very interesting every year. Could you tell me more about this year's
Sure.
booth?
So this year, actually, what we really wanted to do was put the consumer at the heart. Everything we do starts from the consumer. So in our booth, we have essentially displayed a number of everyday life occasions. For example, here we're in the family room. You see a lot of the products that people use every day, like our new Parodontax toothpaste. So we learned from Chinese consumer research that a lot of Chinese consumers have gum problems, but they primarily treat the symptom. They don't really treat the root cause, which is a lack of plaque removal. So our new Parodontax toothpaste actually has superior plaque removal and therefore really addresses the root cause of gum problems. Another trend that we've observed in the China market, especially after COVID, is the outdoor trend. A lot of consumers really want to spend time with their family outdoor. So this is what we call the outdoor station. So here you have the Voltaren 12-hour gel. Aging consumers, they get a lot of problems, chronic problems with joint pain and other chronic pains. So this formula is especially designed to have relief for 12 hours. So it's the first gel of its kind in China. So again, we're launching it here at CIIE and we're rolling it out next year to be available in China for all our Chinese consumers. We even have our Caltrate bone health test. So actually we're doing a lot of work as part of our Bone China program to increase the awareness of bone density in China and what are the risks of low bone density because it can lead to osteoporosis. So these bone health tests we're doing all over China in different locations, for example, in community clinics, or we do it in pharmacies, really with the intent to educate, allow consumers to understand whether they have a bone density issue. This is just one example of how we use such kind of tools in order to educate consumers all across China and try to contribute to improving the health of the Chinese consumers.
What else do you find is interesting at the CIIE?
Okay, there's many interesting things on CIIE, but here we're actually in the more pharmaceutical section. What I find very interesting is how they start using AR and VR to really visualize how their medicines and treatments will help patients to address their diseases. And what it tells me is that augmented reality and virtual reality together with AI is really going to transform the way how we can engage with consumers, of course, in their case, patients.
Actually, I've never been to the fine art part. Have you been here before?
Yeah, actually, this is the second time that I've been to this place. And I think that fine art, luxury brands have also started to now really discover this and leverage this as a platform to build relationships in China. So now we come to the Muji stand. You've noticed how busy CIIE is, right? And I find actually this Muji place quite a serene space. I was very inspired somehow by this display of more ancient Chinese products, right? Such as the bowl holder and the chair in the middle, creating a very peaceful environment and for their products to blend into your lifestyle. So I just felt that this was a very interesting kind of way of presenting their brand.
Do you know this one?
This one, yes, it's to for the rugs to get the dust out.
Yes.
We also have that in my home country.
Oh,
yes. I wanted to briefly show Estée Lauder, a beauty company. I think that beauty companies, just like healthcare companies, have become really innovative in using digital technology. For example, here you have the digital kind of skin assessment that allows you to understand what is the condition of different layers of your skin. So this obviously is a great tool for them to understand the effectiveness of their product. And again, if they do this with consumers, it's also a very good way to engage with consumers.
And that's also something that you're doing.
We have several programs that are educational in nature where we use a lot of tools. And I always find it inspiring to look at other industries as well to see what they're doing on digital technology. And so we learn from each other.
Here we are back at Haleon. What do you feel about the day?
I think this year, I would say CIIE continues to really deliver on my expectations, which is connect with the right people, see the latest trends in the industry, and get inspired.
Are there any changes that you've seen?
Digital innovation is becoming more and more important. I think we've gone through several examples. If I look at 5, 6, 7 years back, it was very product focused.
If you had to summarize CIIE in 1 or 2 words, what would that be?
To connect and to innovate.
Like all industry exhibitions, people can be seen discussing different products. But this year's Import Expo has turned out to be a special one.
This is my first time. Yeah, it's a wonderful show.
Wonderful isn't the only word that can describe the show.
The size of it, I guess, the scale, the innovation that I'm seeing, the presence, the multinational presence is exciting, but probably the most important for me would be the opportunity to interact and interface with our customers, with our business partners, government officials. That's been the real power.
Jerry Orban is the global product team lead for Centargo, a CT high-pressure injection system.
This is really the first piston-based multi-patient injector of its kind.
So that explains why Jerry Orban is attending the expo this year.
Let me share this with you. This is our new Centargo, and we really brought it to the market in record speeds.
It took just 1 year for this injector to be first introduced to China for testing it. Now it's all released to the market. Did you see it coming?
Yes, China's a priority market for us, so we're investing, and we wanted to bring it quickly to the marketplace and get it out there and see how customers react to it, and the response has been really, really strong so far, so we're really excited.
How do you view currently the medical radiology development here in China? Are you planning for more local R&D here?
we want to make sure that when we bring this technology to the market, that we're doing the studies on local patients, Chinese patients, so that the algorithms are tuned into them. We'll continue to invest into the platform itself, not just on the hardware side, but on the software side. We'll continue to bring those on an annual basis to the marketplace and in collaboration with our China-based thought leaders. You can see all the functionality. The bottles go up here. So these are the contrast media and saline will be up here. And then a day set goes inside of here, and this is the display right in the scan room with the patient.
When do you expect Chinese patients can really use this kind of machine?
Q1 next year.
Q1 next year.
Yeah, probably March.
Starting from what kind of cities?
We have, I think, Nanjing, Hangzhou, possibly Shanghai. There's 4 sites where we'll be starting the controlled commercial release to start, and then we'll roll out quickly after that.
Will you pay more frequent visit to China?
I've already been back twice, so it's been probably 15 years since I've been here, and I've been here twice in the last 4 months. So, and another trip planned early next year.
敦促其他国家要避免火上浇油。在这个半个地球以外的华盛顿给找到了。他们希望让自己的生活变得更加美好。
你好吗？
This was the first group of students I took to China.
My journey is deep into China.
Not too many people get this view.
Very inspiring to look at.
Yes, this one's very good.
Mr. Christopher Nolan.
It's very exciting to be back in Shanghai.
I'm at NYU Shanghai. Give you an exclusive tour inside.
让更多的外国人更加理解了上海话的路。
对接“一带一路”倡议。
大家可以看一下，我们这儿有2个小角项，中国制造。
搭载着天河和金仓的长征5号 B 遥2运载火箭从这里点火起航。First villages in the city to be renovated as 高级比的语言高级。
Welcome to the premiere of Chinese puzzle.
Learning the differences. 对我佩服，让月光下却一直害怕自己退步，你别来。
SMG International.
Huangpu Marathon combines the International Roller Skating Marathon Tour.
Regarde, cet événement a l'air génial.
Oui, et Shanghai est juste magnifique.
Ça me donne vraiment envie d'y participer.
The Zootopia Park at the Shanghai Disney Resort.
В Китае отличная инфраструктура. Путешествовать очень удобно.
Время планировать поездку в Китай.
Are you ready to begin your studies in China?
I've already begun learning Chinese.
You can learn by following the Shanghai Eye 24-hour live stream.
和中国的天空，我们在同一天打天下。
在世界的东边，有个文明古国，它叫中国。
Like, it blows my mind.
你
中国制造非常安全的国家。
China has been a leader in embracing investment.
Decoupling of the economies is not a solution.
Die Freundschaft mit China nützt unsere Wirtschaft.
Ich habe jetzt ein besseres Verständnis für viele Kooperationskonzepte.
I would say China's a lot stronger today in innovation.
You should really check out these explanatory reports.
Joe Biden's official presidential car is Cadillac One, otherwise known as the Beast. So is its Chinese counterpart the Beauty?
How big is a gram of gold? In this incident, one could understand this as Western bias.
Wow, China is so different from what I imagined. Yes, we should understand China from multiple perspectives.
Ballet originated in the West in the 15th or 16th century. It's never easy for a Chinese dancer to be selected by one of the world's leading ballet companies, which means they have to put in unimaginable effort.
My challenge is there's so many distractions and so many things that I wanted to do outside of dance.
There's a lot of times that I was really down and depressed.
Chuan Wei-chen is principal dancer at New York City Ballet, the first Chinese in the company's 74-year history. New York City Ballet is the largest dance organization in the United States. Zhao Wanting is principal dancer at San Francisco Ballet, America's oldest classical ballet company. Both had training in Chinese dance schools as children and then went abroad for further study.
I joined Beijing Dance Academy when I was 11 years old. I trained there for 7 years, and we have the best teachers and best team. We had a Vaganova style. It was really intense, but that's how they made us like super strong and really technical. And so I think at that point we are standing out in the global stage because our technique is solid, and also like with our Chinese background and how we have the Chinese culture influence the way we dance is more unique. So I think from that perspective that the Western sees us is like we're the unicorns. We are absolutely very individual and dance very unique. So we combine the Chinese culture and Western dance technique together as one piece.
Yeah, and besides the dance technique, I do think that a lot of ancient Chinese culture influence us to be more accepting, more humble. That really helps us to communicate with like our company and colleagues in a foreign country. So that would really give us a lot of respect.
During the ongoing China Shanghai International Arts Festival, people can enjoy free ballet performances, even in shopping malls. At Grand Gateway 66 in Xujiahui, 4 Chinese dancers from different overseas ballet companies, including the United States, Germany, and Switzerland, premiered original dances for the first time, demonstrating the vibrant presence of Chinese ballet on world stage.
I think ballet shouldn't be just be in the theater.
Ballet is not, it's belong to everyone,
yes.
And also we can dance everywhere, anywhere.
It's very special and unique, and it's amazing we'll be able to share our passion on the same stage in our own country. Normally we perform everywhere else and separate different time zones, and today, and it's really special for us.
And we experience a lot of different kind of style. Today we are able to like put it all together. We are not changing for each other. We are just adapting and adding it more, and so that it makes our dance movement more interesting.
Talking about what they want to do in the future, they hope to choreograph more new dances that incorporate Chinese elements. And more than that, they hope their story will inspire more dancers among the younger generation in China.
One of the reasons we come back because we wanted to passing on our knowledge through dance, so that the younger generation able to see it's really possible to standing on a big company like us do.
Hopefully will inspire them to learn more and get curious. And ballet is always, it's a short career, and the young generation is the next star. So we wanted to bring our stars coming up.
I love to choreograph now, so I wanted to bring more of my piece to come back and perform in China. And I do things that dancing with my colleagues in New York, and also combine Chinese culture with music, stories, and to have a newer piece, a modern classical ballet. It's really interesting, and that's something that I wanted to do in the future.
It's the future of smart industrial manufacturing. All connected to 5G, to a remote computer system, and driven by AI. With machines able to do things that's almost impossible for human beings, precisely, stable, and consistent. This robot with the newest control system was retweeted by Elon Musk. It's all about industrial control to make it more accurate, flexible, and efficient.
This gopher has 10 times more accuracy than any other robot in the world.
That accuracy was realized with the newest robot that was unveiled in Shanghai on Tuesday.
It has a path accuracy of 0.03 millimeters. It's thinner than a hair.
A more open software system is required.
传统是我买这厂商的硬件，我就必须要用这。
在它的软件，这套开放的自动化架构呢，它就取消了对硬件的限制，叫硬件无关。
And as a result, manufacturing facilities can get their assembling lines up and running faster than ever.
做这样一条产线的这个工程交付的时间降低了60%多。
Everything's being reshaped in industrial manufacturing.
More and more software that is offering more avenues for value creation.
越来越等于是从硬件往软件方向去。
是的，软件和服务。
These major transformations are all taking place at a speed in China.
Each one of the machines here used to require a component called Programmable Logic Control, or PLC. But today, they can be linked to a remote system, and that system can control more than one machine at a time.
These are all at one of Schneider Electric's factories in Shanghai.
这个产线、那个产线，将来只要是这种分布式的产线的话，我就一键就可以部署，一键就可以下载，而且可以在线修改。
It's not just in the company's own factories. It's now become the firm's flagship product.
对时延的要求，比如说10毫秒甚至更低，稳定性要达到4个9%、99.99%，或者是5个9%、6个9%的稳定性的要求。
China Unicom started applying 5G for industrial use as soon as the 5G network came online, about 6 years ago.
到目前已经这样的5G 工厂，我们已经打造了5800多座这样的5G 工厂，达到了全球最低4毫秒、6个9%的这样的稳定性的要求。
To conduct such a major transformation towards a software-defined automation is definitely not an easy thing for industrial firms who've already been taking a great market share with their existing hardware products.
整个的营业范围包括利润会不会有影响？
肯定是会有一定程度的影响，尤其是在短时间之内。但是我们是一个特别讲究中长期来去看，随着更多的这个用户来接受这种开放的自动化的理念，尤其是以软件为核心，持续的提升。以前的话大概要7、8个月才能完成的这样一条产线，现在是缩短了3个半月。像我们这条产线的话，我们生产的电机马达保护产品，然后提前3个多月推向生产的话，那就意味着就是上百万的收入哈。
The market demand is huge, so it's key to enter the market as early as possible.
传统的离散加工装备制造业，比如说像汽车像电子加工像这个机械加工零部件很大的一块市场。
For robotics, a key part in industrial automation, some demands have come up where China's held big advantages.
The automotive industry, for example, China's pioneering electrical vehicle. The electrical vehicle transformation has only started. In China, pure electric cars only account for less than 25% of the market. So imagine just in China the way to go. But in the rest of the world, it's really behind. That's why we're launching products really tailored for battery tray, for mega casting to support the Chinese and global OEMs to continue this journey. And also robotics is preparing to enter massively new other segments like healthcare and laboratories.
I saw this was retweeted by Elon Musk.
Yes.
Why is this so significant?
We can run any robot with more than 1,000 options. From the smaller to the bigger robot that has more powerful computing power, so you can use AI. Every time the robot slows down, it brings the energy back to the grid, so it consumes 20% less energy than any robot. And most importantly also, we have the motion control. One controller can control up to 3 robots. These 3 robots are controlled by one brain that is coordinating all the axes at the same time.
And the industrial giants, which have their headquarters in Europe, are not just aiming at selling their products in China.
We turned 30 years in China. We started in 1994. Think about the first small robot in the company. The IRB 120 was fully designed here in Shanghai. The team started in 2005. But here we have also developed things like Yumi, the 2-arm robot, the Gopher robot. All the small robots are fully designed in China. And also the China team is collaborating a lot in motion control. Here in China in the Mega Factory, we have the full value chain. We have more than 300 engineers developing products. The plan is to continue to bring more products into China. For example, mobile robotics, which we are planning to move to China also going into second part of next year. So the goal here is to continue to be self-sufficient for China, but also a hub for the world.
中国是在我们整个全球里面应该是做的最好的国家。然后大概中国这一块的业务已经占到了我们全球的30%左右。从今年我们会加大了在中国本土研发的力量。我们刚刚又投了大概10几个人的这个团队来做这个一些像行业库啊、一些行业模板呀。
The time has finally come where technologies such as AI, 5G are no longer just a tagline or gimmick for industrial manufacturing. They're now becoming a necessity for future industrial manufacturing.
午饭后想打乒乓球吗？
可以。你们会打麻将吗？
啊，对。
Summer vacation is the perfect time for students to explore the world. This year, over 40 foreign students spent 2 months participating in an immersive Chinese language program at NYU Shanghai.
很有出息是什么意思？安西，你怎么理解这个意思？他应该是一个比较出色的人。对，有一些成功的，对吧？比较出色的。
They made a language pledge to speak only Chinese throughout the program, fully embracing the challenge of immersion.
你们今天有的功课多不多？
不太多，我们有一些复习功课，然后我会做我的游戏功课。
In fact, several hundred students from the United States, Germany, Mongolia, Mexico, France, and other countries visited Shanghai in the past few months. Some briefly toured the city as part of a larger trip in China. Others came for a basketball match. And some attended summer camps. When asked about what they enjoyed most, they said,
Since I've been here at the beginning of our week, everyone has been incredibly welcoming and kind. I have to say the one thing that excites me the most is the people.
Just walking on the street, if you wave at someone, they'll wave back. All of them have been super sweet and super respectful. And it just makes me feel so welcome.
My favorite aspect is just, at the end of the day, the people I've met and the friends I've made. Their lives and the way they view the world has been really eye-opening for me.
For many, arriving in a new country can be daunting. But here in Shanghai, the warmth and hospitality of local people created a welcoming environment, allowing these students to explore their new surroundings and form meaningful connections.
I had a lot of connections with them, from music to what we like to study in the future. I feel like I found friendship in that because we have a common goal of trying to contribute to, at least making our world better.
Being able to participate in local activities with people who have lived here for a long time and maybe not had much contact with outsiders in the past, and to kind of hear their story and their way of life has also been really interesting.
As they prepare to say goodbye, some express their desire to return.
I don't know yet exactly what that looks like, whether it's for another language program or an internship or a career-related opportunity, but I think I definitely want to come back at some point.
I already miss China and we're still here. Like, I'm sad. I don't want to leave right now. Like, I'm not ready. Yeah. Like, there's more stuff like I need to do here.
I have friends to visit. I have a reason to come back. I have another reason. I already had reasons to come back to Shanghai or China, but now I have more reasons.
Frequent interactions with people are what distinguish a learning experience as a student from a casual trip as a tourist.
While we're in the dorms, while we're around getting food, we're always speaking Chinese. First week especially was hard, but now I don't even think twice about it. It's harder for me to speak in English, actually.
The news says one thing, but then you don't really know until you've actually been there and experienced for yourself. And I feel like that's probably been the most rewarding part of being here in China. I would like to become that person and be able to tell stories about China in a way that appeals to both Western audiences and Chinese audiences and does accurately depict the essence of China and Chinese culture.
They have many opportunities to go behind the scenes of local places that are not normal tourist attractions. So, for example, they can go visit local Chinese high schools and interact with the students, get to see what students do there for their extracurricular activities and clubs. And they even can, on the holidays, go to learn how to make dumplings with local aunties and uncles from our surrounding neighborhoods.
This is not just learning of the language, it's also part of their general education. I think it's predictable in the future there will be fluctuations. I think it is ultimately up to people, especially our young generation, to find a better solution in the future and for the future because of their understanding of China, its language, and its culture.
Over a decade ago, I also went abroad for summer school, and now I only have fragments of memories of the lessons I took and the places I visited. But I still remember this flash story, a gift from a very nice teacher I met there. One day when these students are asked, what about that summer in Shanghai? What will their answers be? Perhaps it won't be the city itself, but the people and the connections they found far from home.
俄乌冲突将是笼罩此次峰会的阴影。民主小国家要避免火上浇油。在这个半个地球以外的华真的可以找到。希望让自己的生活更加美好。
你好吗？
This was the first group of students I took to China.
My journey is deep into China. Not too many people get to do. Very inspiring to look at.
Mr. President.
It's very exciting to be back in Shanghai. I met you in Shanghai. Yes, was it for inside? 我们更多的人更加理解了上海话的路。这礼拜一参与，看一下我们这个在
天河和金仓的长征5号 B 遥2运载火箭从这里点火击。We renovated as such be.
Welcome to the family of Chinese. Sorry, there it is.
SMG International.
Huangpu Marathon combines the International Roller Skating Marathon Tour.
Regarde, cet événement a l'air génial.
Oui, et Shanghai est juste magnifique.
Ça me donne vraiment envie d'y participer.
Are you ready to begin your studies in China?
I've already begun learning Chinese.
You can learn by following the Shanghai Live 24-hour live stream.
在世界的东边有个文明古国，它叫中国。
Like, it blows my mind.
中国知道了，就刚刚讲的国家。
China has been a leader in embracing investment.
Die Kopplung der Economies ist noch solution.
Freundschaft mit China nützt unserer Wirtschaft. Ich habe jetzt ein besseres Verständnis für viele Kooperationskonzepte.
I would say China is a lot stronger today in innovation.
You should really check out these explanatory reports.
Joe Biden's official presidential car is Cadillac One, otherwise known as the Beast. So is its Chinese counterpart the Beauty? How big is the gramophone? In this incident, one could understand this as Western bias.
Wow, China is so different from what I imagined. Yes, we should understand China from multiple perspectives.
When visitors think of Pudong, images of New Shanghai come to mind. The business center with its towering skyscrapers, landing at Pudong International Airport, the magical world of Asia's largest Disneyland, and cutting-edge developments. Everything in Pudong moves quick. But there is also space to slow down. For me, cycling along the Huangpu Riverside is the best way to experience life here. It's so nice. I can immerse myself in natural landscapes while experiencing modern city life, witnessing both the history and future of this incredible city. Hi, I'm Go Xiap, but you can call me Wen Yi. I'm in my final year as a PhD student at Shanghai Jiao Tong University. My first impression of Shanghai was breathtaking skyline to look at when I first visited the city in 2015. After spending more time here, I have discovered even more surprises. In my free time, I love cycling around the city, scan the coast, just close to nature, experience local life. 我爱Shanghai. You can really hear the birds singing and absorb culture vibes. Come and join me as I share my perspective of Pudong. We are now in the Shanghai Expo Culture Park. I just wanted to show you this beautiful waterfall. Right now, I'm going up and I will see you there. We reached the top of the mountain and you can see actually here Shanghai. 谢谢. The artificial twin hills opened recently, featuring a 48-meter hill with over 7,000 trees. The idea for the project actually comes from public submissions in 2017. It provided a convenient outdoor space in the heart of the city where residents could connect to nature. At the center of the park is the Shanghai Greenhouse, a repurposed 3-story steel factory that now showcases an impressive variety of plant species. This is one of the most beautiful greenhouses I've ever seen. It's so big, so beautiful, and so many special effects like this. Oh, look at this, so beautiful. This is really marvelous. I love it. I feel like in paradise, seriously. Wow, amazing. This is so beautiful. It feels like you're stepping on the water. It feels really magic. Wow, I feel like I'm in a different world. You can walk on these bridges and can see all the view from up to down, and you can also see the panorama of Shanghai. The Shanghai Expo Culture Park is located along the Huangpu River, and right nearby is my favorite cycling path. This 22-kilometer route has bike and jogging paths, and it's perfect for cyclists. I really love riding bikes. Actually, in Europe we have like walkable cities, and we usually use bike to transport ourselves, and as well that's a very popular mean of transportation here in Shanghai. This system of sharing bikes in China is amazing. Wherever you are, you don't have to buy your own bike if you're China. Like, I don't have my bike, because I always know that there's a bike that I can rent everywhere. And it's so cheap, you know. The town is reflecting on the buildings. Pudong recently developed into more art area. It depicts like some part of Chinese culture. So watching this exhibition will give you more insight into cultural richness of China. I am going to visit the Great Art of Dunhuang exhibition at the China Art Museum. We're now in the Buddhist cave temple, which is an example of kind of a cave temple like in Dunhuang. With a history of nearly 2,000 years, Dunhuang culture integrates architecture, painted sculptures, and mural art. It is best represented by Mogao grottos, designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Oh my god, this is such a giant Buddha. Let me show you. Such a giant one here. Amazing. Now we are in Pudong. It used to be nothing here in the 90s, and now it's so developed, and it has so many interesting places. Many people come here to admire the spectacular golden hour as the sun sets behind the stunning architecture, casting reflections on the river, just like the movie La La Land. As night falls, both sides of the Huangpu River light up, illuminating the city with a stunning visual display. It's truly an amazing time to witness the brilliance of Shanghai. I think this cruise ship is also a must if you are ever in Shanghai. What we're seeing behind me is Pudong, of economic and technological development, but it still retains a vibrant atmosphere steeped in art and culture. Technological development, but it still retains a vibrant atmosphere steeped in art and culture.
乔远1502，乔远1502，嗨，平标叫收到请回答。乔远1502，乔远1502，平标叫收到请回答。部长没稍微回应。
他的传播信息发布到往那个方向去，我看一下什么情况。
Zhang Chunpei became China's first female captain of a marine patrol ship this year. She has worked for a decade aboard Haishun 01, which is responsible for cruise and emergency response calls.
有点像海上的交集，比如说海上船舶的会违章啊，船舶排污染物，在海上发生的一些事故，比如说有船舶碰撞呀，有船员遇险啊，那我们要开展海上的救助。
The China Maritime Safety Administration commissioned the ship in 2013, the year Zhang joined the force. Her first mission was as part of the search and rescue efforts for the missing flight MH370 in 2014. She experienced severe sea sickness on the first day, but soon overcame it and stayed on the ship for over 200 days.
海巡巡洋轮当时是作为中方搜救的指挥船，第一个抵达南印度洋，是最后一个撤离的。很多时候，我们面临的最大的挑战不是说海上的恶劣的海洋环境，最大的煎熬可能就是在希望和失望之间反反复复的，但是还是要继续坚持下去的这种信念，有一点点希望，我们就要尽万分的努力。
Part of the reason she became a career at sea is because of her brother.
上高中的时候，本来就是想从军从警这一类的专业的，我哥哥是海军，给我推荐了上海海事大学的航海技术专业。真正参与到海上工作之前，我觉得我会遇到很多的困难，包括我自己心理素质能不能应对海上的这些工作。那真正投入工作，我觉得这些都是能一一化解的。就比如说船上的这些工作条件，其实并没有很多人想象中那么艰苦。就是现代化的船舶，它各方面的设备都已经有很大的改善了。
She spent more than 180 days at sea on average each year. Over a decade, she took part in more than 20 major rescues as ships sailed the Yangtze River, estuary, South Indian Ocean, East China Sea, and the island reefs in the South China Sea. Zhang also leads 6 research projects designed to improve maritime regulation and emergency response capabilities. Her team developed a drifting marker for overboard personnel based on autonomous maritime radio devices and Beidou satellite communication. They have also explored effective ways to use drones for search and medical support missions. They work with Shanghai East Hospital and Tongji Hospital to prepare and provide more efficient first aid. Haishun 01 has a crew of about 30, including 2 or 3 women.
现在新进的人员里面，我们学航海学轮机的女生也在逐步的增多。如果有女生想从事这个行业的话，你就去了解、去试一试，看看自己适不适合。除此之外的话，我觉得这个其实是不限制性别的，尤其是我们是一条公路船，它其实更多的是对心理素质还有专业技能的考验。体力、体能方面并没有那么严苛，就是能承受的。
To Zhang, the call of the ocean is more than a job. It's a way of life marked by dedication, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to maritime safety.
我觉得吸引我的地方就在于它有一些不确定性。很多时候我们在出发的时候都不知道前方面对着什么，但是一次次的挑战磨砺。
Inside my book, I write about many similarities of the two civilizations, the Greek and the Chinese. Let me read you one small part related with the wine. Ο Li Cheng τους εξήγησε, σύμφωνα με το θρύλο, ο Yi ήταν ο πρώτος and the Zhuangzi and the analects from Gongji. I can see all these schools of philosophy as they are the very precious diamonds or gems in one jewelry, in one necklace in the neck of China. I found it so interesting. When I came to China, I felt home. Finally, it became my home. 我很爱中国，中国在我心里。Even Greece is so small. As far the culture, we are giants, like China. We are the two giants. We have 6,500 languages. Only these two languages in the whole world are seamless. This is amazing. My aim and my purpose as a writer is to connect Greece and China, to make this bridge. Connects the spirit and the civilization and the cultures. The light of two worlds is exactly the light of the two civilizations of Greece and China. Inside the book, I try to present the culture, the wisdom, the daily life. We are at 323 before Christ, and the Greek philosopher, student of Aristotle, arrives in the state of Qin. The half of the book is the Greek history part, and the other half is the Chinese history. There are many similarities related with the philosophy and with the spiritual teachings, but also about food and the wine. After the book launched in Greek, many people read it immediately and wrote me that they found so interesting. They understood a lot about China, so they liked it very much. And I hope next year the Chinese readers will have the chance to read it. I am very happy to see that the last years there are hundreds of events, cultural exchanging events happening in Greece and in China, because through these exchanges we will understand better each other, we will respect more the other. 中华文化转分记 I brought the wisdom and the history and the philosophy of ancient Greece and ancient China in this book.
东盟分别与中国、韩国和日本。
美国联邦政府关门的危机。
炒作俄乌冲突将是笼罩此次峰会的阴影。敦促其他国家要避免火上浇油。
我在这个半个地球以外的华盛顿给找到了。
他们希望让自己的生活变得更加美好。
你好吗？
This was the first group of students I took to China.
My journey is deep into China. Not too many people get this view. Very inspiring to look at.
You should really check out these explanatory reports.
Joe Biden's official presidential car is Cadillac One, otherwise known as the Beast. So is its Chinese counterpart the Beauty? How big is a gram of gold? In this instance, one could understand this as Western bias.
Wow, China is so different from what I imagined. Yes, we should understand China from multiple perspectives.
Yun is awesome! Chinese armor looks really cool, but unfortunately, I can only see the drawings. I've read Wu Bei Zhi, which provides a real and detailed description of the structure and manufacturing of ancient Chinese armor. It looks so intricate. It must have been a massive undertaking at that time. I wish I could see an actual set of armor. Wow! Helmet, the sword. The whole set of the Ming Dynasty
and performing art enjoyable to understand.
I want to tell a good story. The new performance style is challenging, but I really enjoy it.
你获得了多巴胺，我获得了内啡肽，相安无事，否极泰来。
I hope to encourage more young people to join in.
Chinese traditional culture is being
in China, the art and techniques of handwriting was a writing brush. 1,600 years ago, worked hard graphy and finally become the most in the history. It says that when one was a child, he practiced Chinese calligraphy so hard that he never stopped. One day, Wang Xizhi was so absorbed in practice he even forgot to have lunch. His mother brought him his favorite steam buns and urged him to eat. After a while, when his mother came back into his studies and saw Wang Xizhi holding a steam bun covered with ink, which made his mouth black, she couldn't help laughing. After years of hard work, he developed his own style of writing. A tool set of writing brush, Chinese ink, rice paper, and be the best gift. I believe that if you try to write a few words, you will definitely fall in love with Chinese calligraphy. This is a gift which my previous maths teacher gave me. 书山有路勤为径，学海无涯苦作舟。There is no royal road to learning. I would like to share this sentence with you. Hanfu is a treasure of Chinese civilization. I like the beauty and style of Hanfu made in the Tang Dynasty, so I spent a month preparing and researching and unveil the mystery of her. In the early Tang Dynasty, short jackets with narrow sleeves were the most common tops for daily women's clothing, and the waist of skirt would be tied above the chest, making them slender and beautiful. Later, when female emperor came into power, women's clothing also changed with the neckline and waist down. The style has become bold and open. During the prosperous Tang Dynasty, the country became strong and women's bodies gradually became plump. The trend is to prioritize fat as beauty, advocating loose-fitting clothing. During the mid to late Tang Dynasty, society was turbulent and the trend of extravagance and enjoyment was prevalent. The long-sleeved robe and long skirt that hung down to the ground were the unique charm of women's clothing in the Tang Dynasty. Hanfu has a long history of about 4,000 years, and the Tang-style Hanfu is only one chapter in it. As a descendant of the Chinese people, I'm very proud of the long-standing Chinese culture. Classic Yue opera with a culture spread over 100 years, and one of the Kung Fu in Yue opera named Steve's Dancing is an amazing knowledge upon itself. Come and see the Steve's Kung Fu show, performed by my Yue opera teacher Mrs. Wang. There are hundreds of postures for the water thieves, such as shaking, clapping, soaring, catching, and so on. The dancing of the water thieves attracts people's eyes. Meanwhile, it is amazing. One movement, one posture is the unique charm of Yue opera. As an excellent traditional Chinese culture, I am willing to be a little flower, so that the fire of Yue opera can be passed on from generation to generation. I'm Coco Wang from Qiuzhi Primary School. I love Yue opera. I love traditional Chinese culture.
湾政府关门的危机。
好，俄乌冲突将是笼罩此次峰会的阴影。敦促其他国家要避免火上浇油。
在这个半个地球以外的华盛顿给找到了。
他们希望让自己的生活变得更加美好。
你好吗？
This was the first group of students I took to China.
My journey is deep into China. Not too many people get this view.
Very inspiring to look at.
Yes, this one's very good.
Mr. Christopher Nolan.
It's very exciting to be back in Shanghai.
I'm at NYU Shanghai. Give you an exclusive tour inside.
外国人更加理解了上海话的路感。
上海地
对接“一带一路”倡议。
大家可以看一下，我们这儿有2个小脚架。
中国制造。搭载着天河和金仓的长征5号 B 遥2运载火箭，从这里点火起航。
First villages in the city to be renovated as Portuguese 的语言标志。
Welcome to the premiere of Chinese puzzle.
Learning the differences.
SMG International.
Huangpu Marathon combines the International Roller Skating Marathon Tour.
Regarde, cet événement a l'air génial.
Oui, et Shanghai est juste magnifique.
Ça me donne vraiment envie d'y participer.
The Zootopia Park at the Shanghai Disney Resort.
В Китае отличная инфраструктура. Путешествовать очень удобно.
Время планировать поездку в Китай.
Are you ready to begin your studies in China?
I've already begun learning Chinese.
You can learn by following the Shanghai Eye 24-hour live stream.
和中国的天空，我们在同一天打天下。
在世界的东边，有个文明古国，它叫中国。
Like it blows my mind.
中国制造非常安全。
A lot stronger today in innovation.
You should really check out these explanatory reports.
Joe Biden's official presidential car is Cadillac One, otherwise known as the Beast. So is its Chinese counterpart the Beauty?
How big is the gram of gold?
In this incident, one could understand this as Western.
We should understand China from multiple perspectives.
Every year, the China International Import Expo is a great opportunity for both companies and individuals to meet new friends and reunite with old ones. So today, I'm going to visit an old friend to see how things are transpiring so far this year.
CIIE number 7.
I am trying to be a bit creative. Let's see. Quite nice.
He is Peter Oxen, who works for Denmark-based pump manufacturer Grundfos and is responsible for devising a way to reduce carbon emissions in commercial buildings. 3 years ago, Oxen moved from Denmark to Shanghai. It was a challenging process initially, but well worth it in the end.
We relocated in the middle of the pandemic, which was a difficult time for the whole world. What I think was really heartwarming was the welcome we received in China, not only from colleagues, but also from people in Shanghai who really did their utmost trying to help us to settle in and make us feel welcome. So for sure, this is something that means a lot.
Due to work arrangements, he and his family relocated to Singapore this summer, but he expressed fond memories of Shanghai.
Customers all over the world, so I need to travel around to be different places. But I have to admit that my 2 years in China have been fantastic for my family, and we have a lot of good memories. So I brought my wife and my 2 kids. So for them, it's also kind of considered home. So get our messages out to the market. So for us, it's really the most important time of year, that is to be at CIIE, for being visible and to have the meeting point here. We have already now much more attention. We actually had a visit of the Prime Minister Li, so I think that was, we were very honored about that. I think that's something for us that is really special to have that kind of attention.
Grundfos has been active in China for almost 30 years. It also sees innovation opportunities in the Chinese market as China aims to achieve carbon neutrality by 2060.
One of the most important reasons for us being in China is the green transition. Because what we can feel in China is that it's not only saying things, it's actually action. We feel action behind it, and we feel willingness to actually do something. China is the country in the world that are investing most in the green transition. So that kind of action and dedication is extremely important for us.
Grundfos operates 2 factories, an R&D center, and a logistics center in China. In March, Grundfos' smart low-carbon plant officially opens in Changshu, Jiangsu province. With a total investment of approximately $100 million, the factory represents the biggest investment by a Danish company outside Denmark in the past decade.
Grundfos entered the Chinese market in 1995. So what will be the focus of Grundfos development in the Chinese market in the future?
Good thing is that what we develop here, and because we have so innovative customers here, I think they have a very entrepreneurial mindset, driving us but also challenging us. So I think we are co-developing, and a lot of the things that we are designing for the Chinese market, we can actually see a fit for that on the global market. But we just see the willingness and the enthusiasm in China is bigger, and that is extremely motivating for us who are providing innovative solutions for doing energy savings. And that's what I like being here, because things are happening fast. It's a high-paced business environment. You need to be on your toes all the time. You need to constantly bring innovations. That is our core DNA.
Over the years, the CIIE has become a crucial event for global companies seeking to make big profits in the Chinese market. The previous 6 editions of the expo featured nearly 2,500 new products, technologies, and services with combined intended turnover reaching over $420 billion.
The goods and the brands that at a glance could remind you of a pricey tag. Something generates a sense of exclusivity. It's how the luxury goods market works. This is the world's biggest luxury fashion group by revenue, Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy, or LVMH, home to 75 brands which the company calls Maison. LVMH recorded revenue of 86.2 billion euros in 2023, another new peak for the luxury conglomerate. Across the company's business empire, sales in Asia, which includes China but not Japan, leads in market share.
China is one of the biggest markets in the world, a market with more than 25,000 staff working for us
1,800 stores, more than in France.
Marc-Antoine Jamais is the General Secretary of LVMH.
If you are able to seduce the Chinese client, you will be able to convince the whole world. A lot of innovation starts in China.
He made a comment on his 5th visit to China International Import Expo in Shanghai.
Import Expo has become a sort of permanent universal exhibition, 10 times, 20 times, 30 times bigger than the Foire de Paris.
No wonder the company's booth was under the spotlight on the first day of the expo opened this year, having attracted plenty of visitors from home and abroad. But like the rest of the global retail sector, it's been under pressure by the slumping consumer spending this year.
In 2020, 2021, the luxury goods market in China was performing really well, but now we see downturn pressure in global economic growth. How do you view China's market, or how do you position China market currently?
Dans 1 an, dans 2 ans, dans 3 ans, on va revenir à une situation de solidité qui permettra à nouveau au marché du luxe chinois de se développer. Et nous sommes prêts.
That readiness is being signaled at the expo. This time, LVMH brought 14 of its brands, the most in 5 years.
It's one of the best in form, one of the most discriminating.
I had a chance to talk to Jamais and learn more about the company's China strategy in this critical time.
Être ici aujourd'hui, c'est pas simplement être ça. C'est ensemble la Chine. Qu'on pense que le long terme, c'est pour la Chine. Que pendant des décennies encore, LVMH et la Chine ont des choses à dire. Et LVMH, non seulement, mais toutes les marques d'LVMH. Ici, nous avons 14 marques, 2 de plus que l'année dernière. Ce qui montre que, véritablement, il y a ici une envie d'investir, une envie de conquérir de nouveaux clients, une envie de montrer de nouveaux produits. Vous avez une clientèle qui est jeune, qui est dynamique, qui est intelligente, qui est digitale. Nous cherchons à lui parler en lui montrant le meilleur de la France, best of France. Montrer du savoir-faire, de l'excellence, de la qualité. C'est ce que nous faisons ici et c'est pour ça que Shanghai, le China International Import Expo, c'est vraiment la place où il faut être.
LVMH is a large luxury group that contains a lot of brands in jewelry, in handbags, in clothes, different kind of categories. How are they performing here in China?
Elle performe très très bien parce qu'il y a une renommée absolument exceptionnelle, mais il y a la conjoncture et la conjoncture économique est moins bonne. Donc je pense que dans un trend qui ne cessera de progresser, il y a des hauts et des bas. Et c'est ce qui est en train de se passer en ce moment. On est plutôt dans un bas, mais un bas très relatif. On n'a plus les croissances à 2 chiffres d'il y a 10 ans. On n'a pas le rattrapage de l'après-Covid. Et donc on est arrivé dans une période plus normale. Et donc c'est cette période un peu plus normale auquel il faut s'habituer, avec un rythme de croissance peut-être moins important, mais encore d'extraordinaires produits qu'on mettra sur le marché chinois et qui vont captiver les jeunes Chinois. Dans 1 an, dans 2 ans, dans 3 ans, on va revenir à une situation de solidité qui permettra à nouveau au marché du luxe chinois de se développer. Et nous sommes prêts. On développe de nouveaux produits, on développe de nouveaux canaux, on développe de nouvelles boutiques. On va ouvrir dans pas longtemps à Sanya une chose absolument folle avec Duty Free Shop. On va ouvrir 128 000 m² de surface commerciale. On accueillera 1000 boutiques, 1000 marques. Il faut croire en la Chine. Nous avons confiance en la Chine parce qu'on construit sur le long terme.
In your speech, I heard that you mentioned China is very, very important to LVMH. Now, currently, how is it different from the rest of the world?
La principale caractéristique de ce marché, c'est qu'il est jeune. C'est souvent des jeunes gens, parce qu'il y a aussi des hommes qui achètent du luxe en Chine, ce qui est aussi une spécificité du marché chinois, de moins de 35 ans. La deuxième spécificité, c'est qu'il est numérique, il est digital. Ici, on utilise le numérique pour une plateforme, pour un réseau, pour un paiement, pour un accord avec Tmall, un accord avec Alibaba. On travaille véritablement avec ce qui fait la force de Chine. Et à Vivatech, qui est le grand salon qu'on organise à Paris sur les startups, on voit très souvent arriver des entreprises chinoises, des startups chinoises qui sont incroyablement innovantes et souvent qu'on attire à nous. Et donc cette intelligence chinoise du digital, elle va travailler avec nous qui avons l'intelligence de la tradition et de l'innovation, mais dans nos métiers qui sont des métiers d'art et d'excellence.
Will you visit China more frequently in the coming year?
Moi, je vais déjà beaucoup en Chine. Je suis allé 75 fois en Chine. Mais mon patron, M. Arnaud, Bernard Arnault, l'homme qui le dirige, l'homme qui a la vision de ce groupe, il est en Chine 3, 4, 5 fois par an. Et sa famille, puisque c'est un groupe familial, et bien évidemment, elle aime la civilisation chinoise. Souvent, nous disons nos artisans, très souvent nos artistes.
敦促其他国家要避免火上浇油。我在这个半个地球以外的华盛顿给找到了。他们希望让自己的生活变得更加美好。
你好吗？
This was the first group of students I took to China.
My journey is deep into China. Not too many people get this view.
very inspiring to look at.
Yes, this one's very good.
Mr. Christopher Nolan.
It's very exciting to be back in Shanghai.
I'm at NYU Shanghai. Give you an exclusive tour inside.
让更多的外国人更加理解了上海话的路。
可以接“一带一路”倡议。大家可以看一下，我们这儿有两个小角星，中国制造。
搭载着天河核心舱的长征5号 B 遥2运载火箭从这里点火起航。
First villages in the city to be renovated as property 的语言告诉。
Welcome to the premiere of Chinese puzzle.
Learning the differences.
对我佩服，让月光下却一直害怕自己退步，你别。
SMG International.
Huangpu Marathon combines the International Roller Skating Marathon Tour.
Regarde, cet événement a l'air génial.
Oui, et Shanghai est juste magnifique.
Ça me donne vraiment envie d'y participer.
The Zootopia Park at the Shanghai Disney Resort.
В Китае отличная инфраструктура. Путешествовать очень удобно.
Время планировать поездку в Китай.
Are you ready to begin your studies in China?
I've already begun learning Chinese.
You can learn by following the Shanghai Eye 24-hour live stream.
和中国的天空，我们在同一天打天下。
在世界的东边，有个文明古国，它叫中国。
Like, it blows my mind.
中国制造非常安全的国家。
China has been a leader in embracing investment.
Decoupling of the economies is not a solution.
Die Freundschaft mit China nützt unsere Wirtschaft.
Ich habe jetzt ein besseres Verständnis für viele Kooperationskonzepte.
I'm a lot stronger today in innovation.
You should really check out these explanatory reports.
Joe Biden's official presidential car is Cadillac One, otherwise known as the Beast. So is its Chinese counterpart the Beauty? How big is the ram of gold?
In this instance, one could understand this as Western bias.
Wow, China is so different from what I imagined. Yes, we should understand China from multiple perspectives.
A new production plant owned by a plastics material maker in Shanghai, covering just half of the ground area of the company's first phase factory, but it's double the production capacity of the old facility. The secret? They've gone high-rise.
This is our stacking robot. Our product is transported from the first floor to here through the pipes, and then the machines here will dry it. And then, the robot package it, 25 kilograms of plastic materials per bag.
By doing so, the company has saved roughly 75 million yuan in land costs. Production efficiency has increased by almost 40%,
And by doing so, the company is also saving energy. Getting the manufacturing processes into multi-story buildings, of course, saves the cost of land and can enhance the overall production efficiency. The urgent demand of these facilities comes as orders increase.
In 2020, our first phase factory was already almost at full production, around 2 billion yuan worth of goods that year, or 210 to 220,000 tons. And in 2021, we got a small breakthrough, when orders come in at 230 to 240,000 tons. That meant, we were not able to produce it all at this plant. So we had to reach out to other plants.
Much of the increased demand comes from the auto industry. This year, it's expecting to produce some 3.6 billion yuan worth of goods, an increase of some 20% from last year. And the rapid growth in orders is anything but slowing down.
From our company's point of view, the market demand is far from saturated. We are relatively optimistic about the market's future. In less than a year since this plant went into operation, we have received more than 1,000. The plant has a production capacity of 400,000 tons, which can fill in demand for manufacturing 5 million cars.
The company is now planning to be high land costs, but with high industrial growth targets. Such a model is exactly what the governments are now promoting. Multiple new plants are now under construction in Shanghai. The city aims to have 30 million square meters of such space.
This is the tallest building in the project, with 12 floors. The first floor is 5.3 meters tall, and the two buildings with steel structure have their first floor at a height of more than 7.85 meters. These are for industrial manufacturing use.
This project in one of Shanghai's industrial zones, Kangqiao, started construction last year and will be complete next year. Covering an area of 26,000 square, project consists of 4 buildings. The tallest one is almost 60 meters tall.
This is our second project that features multi-story buildings for manufacturing. It's designed for industrial firms to have their R&D and manufacturing here. We have increased the carrying capacity for each floor for industrial machines.
The Shanghai government is now subsidizing each project up to 30 million yuan, and encourages industrial zones to offer manufacturing firms in the first 3 years the space is in use.
In recent days, San Francisco has been longing for a fuzzy friend from the Orient. This is the second letter from San Francisco Mayor London Breed to